just like clicks off. There's nothing. There's no nice little introduction. I don't have Kermit the Frog coming to introduce me. How are you, everyone? Welcome to the show. Hopefully, it'll be a lot of fun. I'm pretty excited actually about Ashley Kraft, who let me just bring up her book real quick so we can all see. This is the Unofficial Disney Park Cookbook author. She's made everything in this book. I think there are 100 recipes, some drinks. I think there is another book coming out in October with just the drinks. So if you are a lush, that's really going to be good for you. Let me bring her right out instead of making us all wait. Think of questions, please. Hello, Ashley.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Before I go more into the book with you, you grew up in Anaheim?
Yes.
So were you born in Anaheim?
I was born in Oakland, but we moved to Anaheim shortly after that.
So Disney was a thing all the time, pretty much.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So even when we lived in Oakland, we drove down from time to time. And then when we lived in Anaheim, we went on about a weekly basis.
So it's safe to say, like, you didn't know a time where Disney was a year away or 2 years away. That wasn't.
No.
It was
always. Yeah. It's like going to the park, like the neighborhood park.
You know, and it's also worth mentioning, was food good at home? Like, was mom a good cook?
Yeah. Yeah. My mom was a good cook.
Usually, I think things pass with families, like, you know, they just skills and stuff. But some people will be like, no, I went to Disney for the food because the food at home was terrible. So I want to find out. Like, was dad a cook too, or was it mom? Who was the cook in your family?
My dad, not so much on the cooking.
With me, it was mom too. In my family, it's me. And even that's not that great, except for a few things like I was telling you before. Okay, so your kids now, you live in Kansas now. So
yes,
now Disney is still a mecca a little bit, but you try to get there often.
Yeah. So we end up, before I started writing the books, we basically went every year to at least one of the parks. And in the last couple of years, I actually just moved from Phoenix a little less than a year ago. So when we lived in Phoenix, we went to Disneyland a few times because it's only a 6-hour drive. So that wasn't so. So we went to Disneyland a few times before it closed, obviously. And we still flew out to Disney World as well from time to time. So we were kind of going to one, each a year. But now I've been down to Florida 3 times this year. So it's been great.
When did the book come out? Is this its first version, or do you keep updating it? When did it come out?
It came out November 10th, so it's been out for 3 months.
Okay, which actually, I think I told you, that's my birthday. So that's.
Is it really?
It's my birthday. November 10th is my birthday.
Oh, well, that's awesome. So it's only been out for 3.5 months. It's still on the first version.
Okay, when did the idea come to you that there's a lot going on here? I'm going to write this book.
So I started thinking about writing a book in spring of 2019. And that was when I kind of just started to get the ball rolling on what it would take to traditionally publish a book like this. But that was when I started my blog, which has Disney recipes on it, in 2017. So that was when I first started creating these copycat recipes. And then it was in 2019 when I thought about actually making them into a book.
Okay, let's talk about the blog for a second. You're still doing the blog? Is it still going?
Now that I've been writing full time, I haven't been spending as much time on it. I try to update it with major announcements from time to time. So there are a couple like recent posts on it, but I have not been putting, I haven't been putting new recipes on it, but all my old recipes are still there. Which is kind of fun to look back on how far I've come.
Okay, let's put the blog out there. Let's mention it. What is the website of the blog?
It's ashleycrafted.com.
I love it. You're an ashleycrafted.com.
Yep.
Okay, and since there's a new book coming out in October, we think, which can be pre-ordered now. Let me show not the old one. Let me show the one that's out right now again, the Unofficial Disney Parks Cookbook. You can go on Amazon and get this. Actually, I got it on my iPad through the bookstore. And it's got really good photos and everything. It's a real book. It's not like a dumbed down version for the electronic people. So
that's great.
You can get it from your store technically right now. So in October we have a drink only version.
That's right. Yes.
And you can pre-order that now.
Yes. And I do recommend This is not like, it's a bit of a shameless plug, but I do recommend that you pre-order it if it's at all on your radar, because the first book sold out on its first day. So if you want the drinks book anytime in its first month, I would order it right away, because that determines the print run. So if you get that pre-order in, you're guaranteed to get it the day it comes out. But if you wait even one day, you might have to wait a month. So
awesome. John, I cranked my mic up. Let me know if that's better. Some people told me I was low, and you can't usually tell from this mic, but let me know if that's it. Do I sound okay to you, Ashley?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay. This is a good question. Mary's asking, are there non-alcoholic drinks?
Hi, Mary. That's an excellent question. Actually, I do not drink alcohol. So the book is actually almost entirely non-alcoholic drinks. So your comment about the Lush, well, still true. There are only there's 6 chapters, and one of the chapters is on cocktails. The rest are non-alcoholic. So we hired a freelance mixologist who did those recipes for me. I still did all the writing and all the background stuff, but there's 130 recipes in this book, and only a very small portion are alcoholic. So everybody can find something they can enjoy.
She's going to order it right now.
Thanks,
Good.
Mary.
Okay, you know what's really good about that is anything really can be made alcoholic. If it's sweet,
sure.
throw a shot of rum in it.
Right.
If you want to not taste anything, throw vodka. Maybe it's kind of a blank canvas. But I like it where it's not non-alcoholic.
Yeah.
Because I'll drink that more often than a drink. So
exactly.
And
I do think a lot of my recipes I try to make super easy, and the drinks are definitely really, really easy, but something that you can make with your kids and enjoy with your family. So I wanted to make this book family friendly, and that all the drinks can be enjoyed by everybody. And like you said, you can turn a non-alcoholic drink alcoholic. You can also turn all the alcoholic drinks non-alcoholic if you remove the alcohol and use the substitution.
I just think it works better the other way flavor-wise, because I think you've already said this is the flavor without the alcohol, and then you can just add what you want. I
wouldn't know,
doing it.
but I believe you.
I don't know. I'm not a drinker either. I do once in a while. I'm not against it. I just don't drink a lot. I just changed the mic level thing to not be automatic. Let me know, guys, if this is okay with the mic. I just see a few things about my mic, and I usually don't get mic issues. Let's see. What else did I work at? Oh, you worked for the Mouse at some point.
I did, yes.
I need to know the 2 places you worked and give me a little of that experience, please. Hold on, you just froze for a second, so start over again.
Yeah, so did you. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay.
You're good now.
I did 2 internships with Walt Disney World. So yeah, I grew up in Anaheim, so I was really familiar with Disneyland when I lived in California. And then during college, I did my internships with Disney World, so I became really, really familiar with Disney World. My first internship was doing attractions on Expedition Everest. And it was really fun to see the park operations from inside the park.
I have to ask you, were you there when the Yeti fully moved?
No, that was it broke long before that. So okay. Unfortunately,
I'm old enough to remember the Yeti moving, and I just want him to come back. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
It's been a long time. In fact, it's been over 10 years since I had my internship. So, but the Yeti's been down longer than that. So it's too bad. And then my second internship, I was a concierge, and I was at Old Key West and Saratoga Springs, their sister resorts. So I was at both of them.
Okay, so you've been to Olivia's.
Yes.
I wonder if you referenced that in the whole book. I haven't read through the whole thing yet, but everybody goes nuts over their fried chicken.
This book is only from the parks, no resorts. So okay. You won't find Olivia's in there.
I see future books coming from the resorts.
I think that would be a nice book.
I could see that coming. And you got oh my gosh, you got so many. It's crazy. You got another 100 recipes if you're doing. I mean, to think that you had to go through these 100 recipes, and I would assume at some point you tweaked things and figured things out. So each recipe is probably being made more than once. That's crazy. Is your family like really full all the time?
Yeah. It's a lot, and it's been hard because I was doing a lot of the recipe testing during COVID, so we couldn't like really safely share the food with other people. So I did feel really wasteful, and just hope that I was basically making the sacrifice so that the book could come out and bring happiness and magic into a lot of people's lives. And
is your husband honest enough to say yes, this is it, or honey, no, what are you doing here? I mean, sometimes family's the worst.
No, he's really good about it. The kids are terrible eaters, though. If anybody thinks, oh, if you're a cookbook author, your kids are going to be great eaters, no, my kids are terrible eaters. They don't eat anything, so I don't trust them with anything at all except desserts. They'll try every dessert that comes their way.
Positively Disney says they love the book and they've used it several times. So
your cooking improved, yeah. You have a lot more time at home to give it a go.
Wine and Chocolates, which is another great name, says I see book shopping in my future. Your kids mentioned the gray stuff to you. They kept asking you to make it.
Yeah. I actually just bought the ingredients for it this week because I thought I would surprise them with a little gray stuff because they beg for it constantly.
Is your gray stuff the same thing they call the gray stuff in the park, or is yours your own gray stuff?
All the recipes in here are meant to mimic the food that's in the park. Okay. Now, what's difficult about that, and that some people don't understand, is that the parks change their foods constantly. So whether it's a new recipe or they serve it differently or it's served someplace else, it's changing all the time. So I had to choose one version of everything, and I had to choose one location that it was served at and just like nail that down. And so some people come at me and say like, this isn't what I had, or this is not where I got it from. And it's like, it was where I did, or whatever, they just change so constantly, especially when it comes to like Epcot, because they have the festivals that serve food, 3 different major festivals a year that change out their food items. And then you throw in, like, they often move those into full circulation in the pavilions. So, it's like, was this served where and when? And I don't know, like, what did it look like? It was a different shape when I had it. Who knows?
The gray stuff specifically, once it tasted like a buttercream to me, and once it was like an icing from a sugary thing that wasn't buttercream. It was just much heavier and not like. So yeah, I totally get that. I'm sorry if you get those people that hurt.
Oh no. It's few and far between. It's honestly, it's not a big deal. I'm just, it's a weird like circumstance, I guess, to. Not everybody understands Disney parks food as deeply as I do. So sometimes you just have to describe it, and it's like, I don't know what to say, but all the viewers right now just know I did my best with what I had.
I will say, going through the book, she's tackled some of these recipes that I would never think of making a churro. I just wouldn't. Yes, David, cheeseburger. You know what? Let's talk about it. Cheeseburger egg rolls are in the book. Now, again, when I looked at the recipe, I was looking for pickles because I thought that maybe I tasted pickles, but then I realized, you know what? It might just be mustard that I'm tasting.
Yeah. And it's possible, again, sometimes they do change recipes from time to time, so it's possible yours did have pickle, but if you want to add relish, go for it. That's also the fun of having a cookbook at home, is that you can do whatever you want with the food. You don't have to settle for what Disney serves you. You can make it your own. So if you like having relish in your egg roll, then go for it. Like, make it happen. I think that's the most fun thing about making Disney foods at home. I had somebody, I think it was actually the egg rolls, that they had said that they are meatless. They don't eat meat. And so they made it with Impossible beef at home.
Oh my gosh, that's a great idea.
And they said they'd never had them before. They said they'd never, ever been able to eat them at Disney because they don't serve them meatless. And they were able to make them at home with Impossible meat. And I was like, wow, that makes me so happy that people who have dietary restrictions are able to tweak the recipes to fit their lifestyle. And I'm so happy for that. Like, that's great.
Yeah. Have you ever tried the Impossible stuff?
I have. In fact, I had it at Disney. I had do they serve Impossible or Beyond? I can't remember.
Now it's Impossible at Epcot. It used to be Beyond, yeah.
Yeah, I had some at Epcot.
Was it a meatball that you had?
Cheese. No, it was mac and cheese in
Okay.
the at Food and Wine last year.
Because I'm kind of I've bought it at home now. The just to try it, I was shocked with how much I would not have known. If you fed it to me as a cheeseburger, I
Yeah.
would have never guessed that that was vegan.
Well,
It tastes like
they gave me a sample of it, and I took several bites of it, and then they said, "Yeah, that's completely vegan," and it has vegan cheese as well, and I could have never guessed ever,
wow.
and I was just so surprised. Like, wow, they do a really good job. That's excellent.
The egg roll. How are you making the? I mean, how I don't even know how to start. Make it. Is it phyllo dough or so? What is the egg roll?
My recipe, I used egg roll wrappers because I feel like they're easier to use. Disney uses spring roll wrappers. So if you want to use whatever wrapper you have or that you prefer, that's awesome. I just think that egg roll wrappers are a little thicker and they stand up stronger. I also think they're easier to find at the grocery store. I tried to make these recipes all as accessible as possible. So it's like, what can you find? I always say, if I can find it at my grocery store in Kansas, which is the white breadest part of America, then you can get it wherever you are. So
It's funny. I've never seen egg roll wrappers before. I've never even seen spring roll wrappers. So I'm sure if I just look for them, I'd find them.
yeah,
But I'm gonna try that for sure. Stan Solo says,
they're in the produce section, like where you would find like between the salads and in the like refrigerated front section of the store, they usually have like
yes.
bottled juices and then herbs in packages. It's usually right there. It's like where the
Okay.
tofu is. They have dumpling wrappers, spring roll wrappers, egg roll. Yeah.
I never would have thought to look anywhere near produce, so thank you.
Yeah.
Stan says he heard you today on Monorail Tales. Is
Uh,
that some Monorail Tales might have been a podcast that you did?
I don't
Maybe
think so.
not. He might be thinking about somebody else. As a matter
It
of fact, I
might have
don't
been
see
Main
his.
Street Magic.
Oh, maybe that
Uh,
was it.
I don't think I was ever on anything called Monorail Tales.
And my friend here, John, pick a name and go with it between Level Best and Intercot. I don't want to see both your names. It's too much advertisement for you now. Publix does have egg roll wrappers that I hear. Okay, all right. I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna make those too. I'm gonna have that with. She does make. Ashley in the book makes the tomato soup, tomato basil soup. So I have to try that for sure. Something that I really caught that I don't know if I'll tackle it, but I think I would. And be honest, on a scale of 1 to 10, Ashley, school bread from Epcot. How hard is it to make?
To make. Uh, it's a little.
Oh, it's a 10, isn't it? It's a
No,
10
no. Well, it's honestly one of the more difficult recipes.
because of
Um,
the middle area. Is that why?
well, actually, so I use instant vanilla pudding in my recipe, so that's actually really
Ah,
easy.
okay,
I have a recipe for like vanilla custard cream in here, but I often like to sub out vanilla pudding because it's so much easier. So it makes recipes that much more accessible, and
okay.
other people get in the kitchen and make it and have it be like 1 inch down from perfection than being like, I can't make custard, I just can't, like.
I would have thought that it was harder not to even make the middle itself, but to get it there and have it stay there
No,
without.
that's not hard. So I mean, you do have to make bread, which is it's a bit difficult, but you basically just you pull it right out of the top, and then
Okay.
you dip the top in the coconut and then squeeze the pudding in. So they're really tasty.
I might try that too. I'm going to try the easier stuff first. Would you say the cheeseburger egg rolls are easier before that?
Yeah, and that's one of the most popular recipes, in fact. Like, I've been really surprised at what people have been making. And I probably get a message almost every day with the egg rolls. So those have been extremely popular.
Really?
People have also been air frying them, which is really fun because that just makes it even more accessible. So I really love that people have been doing that.
I love my air fryer.
Me
People are
too.
telling me to get an Instapot, and I have no idea what it is. I still don't know. I don't even look. I didn't Google it. What is an
I
Instapot?
used my Instant Pot tonight. So I use my Instant
Okay. Oh,
Pot all
it's
the time.
okay. So it's not Insta. It's actually instant.
Instant.
I thought it was like Instagram.
No,
Instapot.
no.
Okay.
It's a electric pressure cooker is what it is.
And it's different from a slow cooker because of the pressure cooking of it.
Yeah, it kind of slow cooks things fast.
Okay, all right. I'll look into that. What is some of the more challenging recipes that you found when making the book?
Um, Probably school bread's up there. They're all pretty accessible. I think that the blueberry cream cheese mousse from Pandora has the potential to be tricky just because it's so many elements. It has like 5 different elements in it, so you have to organize yourself and get all that stuff taken care of.
That does sound pretty challenging there.
Yeah.
Was
but
there a
it's really
recipe
good.
that you absolutely remember you wanted to include in the book, but it just made you angry, or it just was not going the right way? Some story is while you were making the book that you just didn't like this recipe. It wasn't going right.
Yeah, I don't think I ever ended up actually omitting anything because of that. I think I persevered through all those hiccups, but I really had trouble with the chocolate and caramel pineapple spear from the Germany pavilion, just because the pineapple is like so slimy and it's really hard to get the chocolate and caramel to adhere to it. So I tried just a whole bunch of different things and I was about to scrap it. But my husband, that's one of his favorite things from all of Disney. And he said, I think you should keep trying and make it happen. And I kept trying and I got it to work out. And I don't think I've seen a single person send me a message about that. So I don't even know if anybody's ever cooked it.
I'm sure somebody's done it.
Probably somebody somewhere has.
Okay, guys, let me know if you have questions for Ashley. We're probably on about a 20-second delay by the time they get the question. How's my volume now also? I feel like I'm yelling. I feel like there's an issue with this mic today because it's high. And Rob, I think it's you. Oh, yeah, now Linda's telling me I'm loud and Rob is... questions for Ashley. Questions about the book. Again, I'm going to show this book. I would love you to really go and support her on Amazon and get this book. She's obviously worked very hard on it. Dole Whip is in there, guys. I don't know if I would try it, but by the way, Ashley, we're talking about drinks. I don't drink, but somebody handed us a Dole Whip Moscato this week from Wine Bar George.
Huh.
I didn't taste Moscato. I didn't taste wine or anything. It was delicious because it was just like a Dole Whip, but less
like Dole Whip.
frozen. Just tasted like Dole Whip. I could have gotten in trouble with it because I would have gotten drunk and not even known that was anything.
Yeah.
Let's see what questions we've got here. Ashley, what's your favorite recipe from the book Jeremy Goff is asking?
The one that I make the most often is probably the Gaston's Tavern's giant cinnamon rolls. Those are a family favorite. They're easy to make. They're delicious. Can't go wrong. So that's probably my favorite.
Giant cinnamon rolls. They look hard too to make to me. A lot of the things, like I said, you tackled some really challenging recipes.
I do have a few videos on my YouTube channel of different recipes that I made. So there's not very many.
Give me the
there.
YouTube channel. What's the name of the YouTube?
I think it's called Ashley Crafted. So if you search Ashley Crafted, then they had the Gaston's Tavern one was an old video back from the blog, so it's not very streamlined, but it still shows everything and kind of lays out how to make it all. And there's some newer recipe videos that I put out with the release of the book.
I think we covered this a little bit, but Craig Skaggs, who is an amazing Disney Lucasfilm artist, is asking what inspired you to write the book.
The reason why I wrote it is because it wasn't out there and I wanted it to be. So I always wanted a snacks and treats Disney book, and that has just never been published before. Disney has put out different books that sometimes would have snacks and treats in them, or they would be like restaurant based. But I had never seen one like this, and I was just waiting for it. And then I decided, why don't I be the one to write it? So I did.
Somebody says, have you ever eaten at Narcoossee's, Mary Wells?
Have not.
I haven't either.
It looks really good, though.
It does. I thought it was a lot of seafood, so I have not eaten there.
Oh, I like seafood.
I would go.
I would like it.
I hear it's great. David Picciano, what is Ashley's favorite place to eat on any Disney property?
Wow. Well, I like to say Club 33 because that makes me sound bougie. So I have been to Club 33 before, and I would definitely choose that every time.
That's good to know.
But
It's good to know they don't phone it in, huh? They really do it.
they really do what?
They do it good. Like they don't phone it in. They do a
Oh
really good
no,
job.
they do it so
Yeah.
good. They do it amazing, and not only that, they're so sweet. My kids were with us on our last trip there, and they kept calling my daughter Chef Hazel because she said that she wanted to be a chef someday, and they said that she was going to be the executive chef of Club 33, and so they kept calling her chef, and she now calls it my restaurant. She'll say like, "Oh, remember when we went to my restaurant?" It's like,
That's
you
that's
think Club
awesome.
33 is yours? Yeah. So they really do a wonderful job.
Somebody asked a question here that I know the answer to. Adam, do you have recipes from Pandora and Galaxy's Edge in the book? I'm going to say yes because I saw Ronto wraps at least, but I will let Ashley answer.
I absolutely do. Yes. I have Night Blossom. I have Pongo Lupia. I have Ronto wraps, blue milk, green milk. Um,
I bet you your blue and green milk taste even better than what they've got.
they really do. I feel like the ones at the park have like gelatin in them or something. I know they don't because I think they're vegan, but like they feel like a weird texture to me, and I think that's trying to be like otherworldly, which is fine. But I like the texture that mine are better. I think the
I
flavor
agree.
is the same, but the it's not doesn't have that weird like mouth feel.
Kimberly Pichano is asking about zebra cakes. I wonder if she means zebra domes because that's all that I know.
I'm sure she
Are
means
they?
I'm sure she means zebra domes, and I have not attempted to make them yet. So uh, I would love to make a recipe for them someday, but I haven't made them yet.
Oh, but that would technically be a resort. I don't know even know if
Yeah,
they're at the park. I know they're at the Animal
no,
Kingdom Lodge.
yeah.
Oh, you're going to have a resort book one of these days, and I'll have to have you back on the show. I hope. Let's see. It would be harder to make blue and green milk taste worse than the parks.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh, okay. Stan is asking, do you have the pasta sauce recipe for the past sauce at Tony's Town Square?
No, because I only do. There's only snacks and treats for this book, so
Right. It's not like the right to you thing.
yeah. So have not attempted that.
I would definitely say the cheeseburger egg rolls are my favorite snack. By the way, somebody's asking what my favorite snack is.
Nice.
I don't. The ice cream. And you actually do the pretzels also, don't you, in the book?
Yeah,
So am I buying pretzel dough or am I making pretzel dough from scratch?
you're making pretzel dough from scratch. And I
How
do.
hard?
I will tell everybody who's listening, if you haven't seen it somewhere else, I try to announce this every time. There's a misprint on the Mickey pretzel recipe that you need to change it to 1.5 cups of water instead of a half cup of water. So an extra cup of water on that first recipe ingredient. The subsequent prints of the book is changing that, but if anybody has a first run copy of the book, it will not have that in there. So change it, get it done. I actually recommend if you make the cream cheese stuffed pretzels. Those are insanely good.
I think I got to handle regular pretzels before I start stuffing them with
I'm
cream
just
cheese.
saying. I'm just saying. If you're going to be making dough already, you might as well make really yummy ones.
Okay, so if I have the mixer, the really good, I forget the brand, but you know the one that feels like a piece of metal mixer.
KitchenAid?
I can KitchenAid. Thank you. I can make these pretzels.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that too. You're gonna be getting emails from me.
I can't wait.
Guys, give me some last questions for Ashley before I let her go. I'm going to show the book again. Oh, hold on. What do we got here from Adam? Do you have the waffle cone recipe from the Plaza Ice Cream Parlor?
That's a really awesome question because that is definitely a snack slash treat. Waffle cones are made in waffle irons, like waffle cone irons, and that's not something most people have. So I probably won't have a recipe for a waffle cone ever, just because
That's a,
of the equipment. So I try to keep it to equipment that almost anybody has or has access to. So I don't think I'll ever do that, but you could probably look up one or something.
and I think we asked this already. Maybe a resort book, but are you planning a second book?
Well, I have the drinks book coming out, so that is my second book, and that's coming out in October. So I hope everybody pre-orders it, and I hope I write books after that. The drinks book is still in production, so I'm not currently under contract for another book, but hopefully soon. I don't know if you saw my big announcement that I just made right before the podcast. I found out that I have sold over 100,000 copies of the Unofficial Disney Parks Cookbook. So in 3.5 months, I've sold over 100,000 copies. So it's going so well. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for all your support and making this book so huge. I could have never, ever dreamed it would be this successful. So I can only hope that I'll get to write more books and keep bringing that magic.
That is so cool. I think that's, again, what it is. That's what I always say I try to do is I'm trying to bring the parks to the home before until the people can get to the parks. And you're doing that exactly through your book and through cooking. So that's great. Yes, John, the churro recipe was one of the first ones I think that are in the book, actually.
Very first.
Again, scale of 1 to 10, how hard would you say for an average person to make a churro?
Churros are super easy. I would go with maybe a 3 or a 4 just because it involves hot oil. But other than the hot oil, perfectly easy.
Awesome. There is popcorn in the book, Tina. Have you ever tried to make caramel popcorn? I don't know. Is it? I think you do caramel popcorn, isn't it?
Yep.
It's not, technically from Germany. Oh no, is it? From the German pavilion? Is that?
Yeah, it is. It's I believe that you use Werther's caramel in the recipe, so it's as close as you can get at home without having a big old paddle or and a cauldron.
Jeremy Goff says, do you need a taste tester, and where does he put his luggage?
Yeah, got a guest room. Be right here next to the office. Be great.
Mary, she said that she really didn't have a recipe that she omitted, but is there a recipe that you didn't make for a popular snack for any reason?
Not on purpose. Not on purpose. I literally tried to pick the top 100 snacks and treats that I could find / think of. So I didn't purposefully leave anything out for any reason. So I hope everybody's favorites got in there.
Ashley, I'm going to ask a question that I don't fully understand, but I don't know if you might. She says, John, ask about the maps and index.
Hi, Vanessa. I'm not sure what you want to know about them.
I know you do have maps, and
I do have them. So, Vanessa, care to elaborate? I have maps and index. Hi.
Yeah, hopefully she'll elaborate on that. I thought maybe there was something special that she knew about it that I didn't know.
The index, at the back of the book, like a index.
Yeah, it's all there.
Yep, and the maps were all professionally done by a freelance illustrator who did all these beautiful maps. So, and they will also be doing the maps for the drinks book. So the drinks book will also have maps. She's just pointing out.
I think she's yeah.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were trying to point out some problem with them or something. I was like, oh no. Yeah, we actually weren't going to do maps in the drinks book. Because there's so many more locations. The drinks actually include all the parks, resorts, and entertainment districts. So it just was like a big amount of space. But the feedback on the maps was so positive that we decided to make maps anyway. So they'll look a little bit different, but pretty cool. They're really fun. Makes it easy to find things in the index. Yeah.
I'm showing this book one more time, the Unofficial Disney Parks Cookbook. You can pre-order the drinks. I love that. You can pre-order the drink book to come in October. And what are all the ways that we can follow you? We know Ashley Crafted. Give me all your social media and stuff that is worth knowing. Yeah,
the best place to follow me is on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. In fact, I usually respond to any comments or messages in minutes. My handle is @ashley.crafted. So come and follow me there. I just posted all about my last trip to Disney World from last weekend. So come and check out all the fun things we did, masked. And, I post pretty much the same thing on my Facebook page, which is also Ashley Crafted. And then there's some videos on my YouTube, Ashley Crafted. So come check me out.
Awesome. Can I get you back when the next book comes out?
Please. I would love that.
I really hope so. And hopefully if you and the family come down to Disney and you want to say hi, let me know when you're here. I'll come and say hi for a lunch or something like that. I thank you so much,
Awesome.
Ashley. Really.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for making the time. I appreciate it. I will talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
I'm going to be making stuff. I promise. I'm going to be making stuff. Thank you. Isn't that great? I like her. I love Ashley. All right. Anybody that cooks, right? Uh, yeah, 100,000 books. That's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to bring in Becky Mankin. I don't know if you've ever heard of this lady. She's really new to the whole Disney kind of space here. She is. Hi, Becky.
I'm
Becky
new.
is. She's new to the space. I just wanted to get a little travel update from Becky Mankin from Mouse Fan Travel, a division of meitravel.com.
Indeed.
What are things getting better?
First of all, thank you so much for having me back on. I really, really appreciate having the opportunity.
I think we should do 15 minutes of travel update, like at least every other week.
I'm here for you. You want me, you got me. Especially right now when things are just changing and going crazy. You would not even imagine what's going on right now. Things are changing.
I see some good things, but I don't know how it feels to you. That's why I'm.
Well, when the vaccines were announced, then people had that feeling of, okay, here's the end of the tunnel. And how I've kind of been putting it is, it's not, when we've been staring down this tunnel for a lot longer than we thought we were ever going to have to, it's no longer a train speeding at us when we see the light. It's actually a light. So with some options out there, like Walt Disney World is open, which is fantastic. And they've been doing a great job of keeping people safe.
I've been there, and I mean, I've been around people there, and thank God.
Yeah, exactly. So. And the all-inclusive resorts in Mexico and the Caribbean were a great option as well. CDC did come out with a new rule about having to test when you return, so that kind of slowed things down, but it's still an option. And then, of course, we have El Ani, if you're a person that wants to go hang out in the, for me, it's getting a little tropical drink with a little umbrella, it's Hawaii, but but that's an option too. And they do have a testing requirement of 72 hours out, but it's a lot easier than some of the other options. So all in all, travel is coming back. We're seeing a lot of interest in 2022, especially now that Walt Disney World has released their schedule up and through July, a date in July right now with 500 days out. So my biggest advice, before I tell you all the rest of where things are, if you're even thinking about going anywhere in 2022, now is the time to book, because people are already got that pent up energy and they're ready to go somewhere and get out of the four walls they've been staring at. And a lot of people are dreaming right now about their vacation. So one of the biggest questions that I've had that I'll just address right up front is cruising. Because a lot of people are wondering, when the heck are the ships actually going to hit the water and be out there again? And we've had some interesting movement in that arena. Disney Cruise Line right now is paused through April for all sailings and some in May. I have a feeling we might get a little bit more of an extension, but the end of the tunnel is there as well. We're hearing the CDC should be giving the instructions that everybody's been waiting for in the next few days. Once we get that, they'll move to their test sailings, and then from there, they'll be certified to go ahead and start revenue cruises again. So, fingers crossed. The other thing that we're asked a lot about is the Alaska sailings, because normally those are May to the end of, or the middle of September. Those are going to be greatly impacted, not only from the pandemic, but also due to Canada saying that they will not allow ships of a certain size or over a certain size to stop in their ports, which, according to the PVSA, which is the passenger version of the Jones Act, you might hear that a lot, but the PVSA is what we're talking about. If they will have to do a waiver for people to not have to stop in a foreign port between two U.S. cities. So everything's really complicated in that arena.
All right. So, but if the Alaska cruises, you said, go from May to
September, typically. Some end in the end of August, but most go into September.
So if I wanted to book an August Alaska cruise right now, could I?
It depends on if they're available to book. So some cruise lines have pulled them back. Others they're still out there and you can book them. Just don't know what's going to happen with them. So with Alaska, two things can happen. Either they will waive the PVSA, which is not very likely, because there's a lot of laws and restrictions about how a waiver can be applied. And it's usually in a great, if there was a war and you had to deal with that, some national reason to have to do that. And unfortunately, an economic crisis is not one of them. There's another option, what's called a technical stop, which would mean, for example, for Alaska, you would go from Seattle, you could stop in one of the Canadian ports, but no one could get off. It's just to allow the crew to go off, get their book stamped and say, yep, we visited a foreign port, and then move on their merry way. And I think I'm leaning, and this is just my gut, I'm kind of leaning to that's what they're attempting to do, but there just is no guarantee.
Vanessa was just asking something that I'm sure a lot of people are thinking is, oh, if I was vaccinated, can it be that I can get off? And we don't see any of that yet.
Not yet. There's going to be a ton of protocols. Once the CDC is finally given their final, here you go, they're going to have the laws and regulations of what the cruise lines are going to have to follow. And there's been a lot of questions about the vaccines right now. The initial CDC requirements of the 78 keep you healthy points were done pre-vaccine, but at this point too, only 5% of our country has been vaccinated. So if you do have a vaccine, it still will most likely mean you'll still have to wear a mask. You'll still have to go through testing. So we don't know that for sure, but that's the speculation.
So I'm going to speak for you, and you tell me if this is accurate.
Okay.
If I was adventurous and I didn't mind if I could risk losing my date or my date getting pushed up and my cruise was available, you would say, go ahead, book it and take your shot. If I said, no, I don't want a chance not being able to go, I don't want a chance, a whole bunch of different unforeseens, you'd book for 2022.
Absolutely. So
okay.
Don't hesitate booking in 2021. If you don't mind the possibility of having to follow their protocols, so having to wear a mask when you're on a ship, the social distancing is going to be a big deal as well. If you don't mind the fact that they may have to move that itinerary, they may have to cancel it. The one thing that you kind of need to keep in mind is even though there are 7 ships available in a fleet, it could be that for the first couple of months, only 1 or 2 ships sail. So there's a possibility of it being canceled on you. And if it cancels, okay, you'll get that 125% FCC credit if you've paid in full. So you just made 25% more to book on your next sailing. So there really isn't a loss there, but there is fatigue. I mean, I'm looking at names in there and I see several people would definitely be in that, you know what? I've booked and canceled 7 times. My date's been moved. I'm done until I know that I'll be able to sail. And that's okay too. Nobody's going to fault you for that. If you're doing that, look into 2022.
Disney announced it's October 1st. They're starting to trickle the information on the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
The beacons of magic, the icons of the park. Do you have 2 minutes to show a Good Morning America thing that quick little video so we can talk about that?
I'm here for you.
Okay, they're not giving us much now, but they're giving me enough that I'm really excited to go.
Excellent.
This is from our friends at Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. They are gearing up for a special anniversary, 50 magical years. And this morning, we have an exclusive first look at the world's most magical celebration. There's so much fun that's coming to Walt Disney World. Get ready for this. It's starting October 1st, and over the following 18 months, it all begins with a transformation for Cinderella Castle. It is going to be decorated with ornaments, embellishments, all of it just for the occasion. Plus, you've got attractions like Hollywood Studios' Tower of Terror, Animal Kingdom's Tree of Life, love that one, and Epcot's Spaceship Earth. They're getting a new look for the celebration. And this morning, we have some very special guests joining us from Walt Disney World. Yep, there's Mickey and Minnie live in front of Cinderella Castle showing off their new sparkling custom-made looks. They're featuring special iridescent fabric, get it? And some embroidery of Cinderella Castle. So good. You are all welcome to join Mickey, Minnie, and all the Walt Disney World cast members when the world's most magical celebration kicks off on October 1st.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks.
So you have to see an increase in October 1st and beyond bookings. But the good thing is
Well,
it's going on for 18 months.
yes. And that was one of the kickers for me, is that we didn't know. We've all been kind of speculating and going, is this going to be a day? Is it going to be a year? Is it going to be a month? So at least having that question answered was good. But when they opened up 2021 into the fall, we got a ton of bookings even before we knew what was happening. So October 1st and that week is pretty full right now. I do know that the Magic Kingdom at this time doesn't have any park reservations that you can make for the Magic Kingdom. But clearly, if you look at that video, things are going to be happening in every one of the parks.
I can't wait. I am there
I
October
know.
1st. I had to get there. I was there for the 25th, and I remember saying, I was 25 years old, and I remember saying, I'm going to be here for the 50th, and it seemed so far away. I can get choked up about it now because I can't believe that, like, it got here. It's kind of scary and
No,
good at the same time.
time goes like that. But are you excited about the iridescence?
I am. I know you. You went for. Did you go for rose gold? I think you did.
I didn't go for rose gold.
Okay, but you went for the.
No.
I still have your purple ears in my car. You know that. Linda Raymond got you purple ears. I still have them. I will give them to you. But are you gonna? The iridescent stuff is nice.
Yes,
I
I
know.
like it because honestly, they could have gone the really gaudy gold everywhere look. And I was really hoping they wouldn't do that. And I'm so glad to see that they came out with a color palette that is worthy of the celebration.
Yeah, and I think the decorations on the castle, those gold things going up the spire, I think they're just elegant. They're so,
I do
and I
too.
didn't think they were going to do anything more with the castle. I thought that, the pink and the thing and the painting was it. So it's nice to see that they're going to give some love.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what else we're going to get to. And guys, you really have to go. Mousefantravel.com. If you go there, please tell them I sent you and book your trip. If we have questions for Becky, please give me some travel questions here that she can answer. You're not going to get more honest and better answers.
I'm
You
an
really
open
do
book.
give. No, you do. I know. You don't give the big sales pitch that you tell people just how it is because you want them to
really
book over and
can't.
over.
You can't really at this time because people, while people are traveling to Walt Disney World, there's some people who just aren't comfortable and some that have medical conditions that they really shouldn't be thinking about it. So I like to make sure that we give the pros and cons of any travel decision and let you decide what's going to be best for you.
Yeah, no, and that is the way to do it, and that's the way you keep customers that want to come back over and over. Yes, Linda, I do still have those ears. I think the last time I saw Becky, it was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Yep.
I didn't bring them with me to that event, and I haven't seen her since. Although I did mail her a package and forgot to put them in there. Grace with MEI Travel says the 50th costumes are magical. I love it. Can't wait for all the celebrations. Hi, Grace.
Yeah, I think that's the thing we're all excited about now. We have a taste. We've kind of seen a little bit of the color palette and what they have planned on a big scale, but there's so many more details that we know. So they're teasing us right now. And I'm sure we're going to get little pieces of information dropped to us like
Yeah, in 2
breadcrumbs
weeks we'll have some.
to follow until we're there and excited to take in the celebration. But again, I'm thrilled that it's going to be 18 months for those who can't be there that first week of October. There's a lot of celebration to go on.
It's amazing how it probably will evolve. Like October 1st, we probably, I don't know for a fact, will still have masks on, but it's possible that March of 2022, the parade is different because now we don't need masks and maybe fireworks return in a grand way or something. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a different celebration from October 1st till. So if you can't be there for October 1st, you could always say and justify it with, all right, well then, it's better 5 months later because we don't have masks. Whatever you got to do to make it the best time that you're there.
Exactly. But some of the things that they've done, I hope they stick around. I adore these cavalcades. I think
too.
that they are so fun and so spontaneous, and you don't have to wait a half an hour or get your spot 40 minutes and wait.
I agree 100%.
It's amazing some of the stuff that they can come up with.
It also feels like inside information when you ask a cast member and say, are we going to see Belle? And they're like, I know, in about 10 minutes, you might want to stay here. It does feel, and I like the whole surprise of it.
Yeah.
I hate that, and I shouldn't say the word hate. Some people do pre-plan everything of their visit and they don't
Right.
catch that surprise and delight. So I do hope they keep. I mean, I still want a 3:00 parade too. Let's not get me wrong.
Because we have to have the joke. The joke has to hang around for at least a good amount of time.
But you know, it's funny. There's some truth to the joke. You know that if you wait on Main Street, the 3:00 parade isn't coming at 3:00 if it starts in Frontierland. It's going to come at
Very
3:30. So.
But there wasn't a piece of news that came out today, which I was really excited about because you know me, I'm this West Coaster over here. They did announce that May 2nd, the villas at the Grand Californian are going to open.
Yes.
So, yay! We've been kind of waiting for a little bit of life to happen in Disneyland, and I know that we are patiently waiting right now for the announcement of when they're going to do the food festival, which they're planning to do in mid-March. So we're waiting for that announcement of what dates. But to see that a hotel is actually going to open next, that was just the next step that we kind of needed to get the excitement going for Disneyland.
Does that step tell you that they're getting closer to opening?
You know, it's just the villas, but then again, they did the same thing in Walt Disney World. So kind of hedging on that supply and demand, you can't just close a resort that's that large and reopen it the next day. So I can tell a reamping would kind of have to happen here, but it gives me a lot of hope for what we might see for the summer.
All right, awesome. Guys, I'm giving you a last chance to ask Becky a question. I think if, you know, as long as you'll come on once at least every other Tuesday, we'll do this because I think this is good, especially as you get news and I usually find out from emails and stuff. I will know.
I think that the next few weeks especially are going to give us information, whether good or bad or paused. I mean, even with the cruise lines, when they do start sailing again and DCL and the other cruise lines do come up with what they're doing, there's going to be a lot of news around it because, again, they're going to have to change some itineraries. Anything that's over 7 days at this point, this could change, are going to go away. So they might be doing shorter sailings. There's just going to be a lot of information to keep track of as we head into the summer season.
I tell you, I did the Disney Cruise Line once where we stopped at the private island twice.
Yeah.
And that was one of the best cruises. So I wouldn't mind if we didn't have to go to a country at all.
I'm fine with that. As a matter of fact, I've said that for years. If the ship would just go out, do a couple of circles, stop at Castaway Cay, go out, do a couple of circles, go back to Castaway Cay, and then go home. That would be a perfect vacation.
Remember, I think we left on a Monday. I think was it 7 days? I know we stopped at the private island. We went back out to sea, back to the private island, and then back home. And what was so perfect is the weather wasn't so great for the first half of one day on the private island, but you knew you were going back and it was perfect the next time. And you were so excited to go back. It was perfect.
Yeah, you got the second shot at hanging out on Castaway Cay.
It was like second Christmas. It was great.
Yeah, the double dip itineraries are some of the most popular and they book faster than many of the others. And the other thing we need to remember with cruising too is when their typical itineraries do return, how many of those countries are actually going to let us in? Are we going to have to book only their excursions and be in a bubble? We just don't know. So there's a lot of details coming.
Chris is asking about Castaway. Did they recover from the hurricanes? I think that's done already, right?
I think so too. Yeah, I haven't heard anything of. One thing about Disney is they don't let bad show sit anywhere for very long.
All right, so like Becky said, once supply and demand starts to figure out, things are going to keep going quicker and quicker. The numbers, thank God, are dropping now, even before we've all gotten the vaccine, or most of us. So let's keep it up. I love you. Thank you so much. I will. I'll not next week, but the week after you come back.
That sounds good. I'm happy to do it anytime that you need me. I'm happy to come in and talk about travel anytime. So thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, dear. I'll talk to you soon. Mousefantravel.com, MEI Travel. Becky Mankin, thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Let's see. How do I remember everything that's going on? Next week, Tuesday, I'm finally going to try. Actually, I'm not going to try it. We're going to do it. I got some really good software. I spent a lot of money. Trivia. Disney Trivia. It's not going to be here on StreamYard, although I will have a YouTube video that tells you how to get to it. PandaTrivia.com will give you the link right to it. I will be live on your device. The questions, the pictures, everything will be on your device. It is a special software, so you can watch it here on a computer. You can do it on an iPad. You can do it on your phone. Yeah, my face will be on your phone, iPad, or computer with the questions, with stuff, with a whole bunch of stuff. There will be prizes for first, second, and third place. We're going to try to make it a big thing. Hello, Diz Life of ours. I didn't see you there. So we're going to try that next Tuesday in lieu of a show. PandaTrivia.com. The website's not up yet, so don't go look for it. Let's see. What else to tell you? Disney Night Live. That is the show that I do for the Now That's Disney group with David Picciano. Kim Picciano usually visits, and Stan Solo. Stan Solo, one of my good friends, does the Grand Circle Tour podcast, which is right before this one, actually. I'm sorry, the Grand Circle Tour show. I get it confused because he has a Stan Solo podcast, which is really good too. The Grand Circle Tour. And then after this show is the Disney Nerds podcast, which is where you should be going now, because we have like a gentleman's agreement that we'll stop at 9 o'clock so that you can go to the next show. The way Stan has an agreement to stop at 8 o'clock for you to come to my show. So I'm kind of like, you know, the best is the Oreo cream. If you're a part of an Oreo, you want to be the cream. So that's what I'm at right now. And I'm also the consistency of the cream, so I'm very huggable. Love you guys. Thank you so much for coming, and I will see you Tuesday. Get ready for some fun trivia. Oh, hold on. I got to show you something. Becky, if you're still watching, you'll also like this. I found this on eBay, brand new, sealed. So when I need help with trivia, I got it from this thing. Do you remember this? This is 20 years old. I wouldn't buy a used one because I didn't want all kinds of grubby hands all over it. But this is brand new. So I can't... Do you remember these things? Not Trivial Pursuit, but it was like the Disney version of Trivial Pursuit with 1,600 questions. Okay, not going to do this here. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good night. Disney Nerds podcast shows now. Go give him a like. Tell Jimmy Horn that I sent you over. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much. And please give Ashley's book a check out on Amazon.